Best friend cheated on her boyfriend and kept it a secret and refuses to come clean about her baby trap. Olivia and I have been best friends since the summer before freshman year of college. Our personalities are very different. She's outgoing and people-oriented while I'm more bookish and introverted, but we've always had a great dynamic and mutual respect for one another. We've lived together since our sophomore year of college, which has been mostly fine except for two issues: her bringing guys over all the time, and her on-off relationship with a guy named Nathan. Nathan was in my major, and he instantly hit it off with Olivia the first time I introduced them to one another. The two began dating halfway through her freshman year. Since we're in the same major, I started becoming good friends with Nathan as well. He's charming and intelligent, and Olivia's mother greatly approved of the relationship since he's also Korean. But Olivia herself often told me that she felt bored in the relationship and that he was too clingy and controlling. They broke up for the first time after a year of dating, after which Olivia went through what can only be described as a wild phase. She was skipping classes, partying nearly every night, bringing guys home, the works. Nathan was heartbroken by the breakup and I didn't want to make him feel even worse, so I didn't tell him about Olivia's behavior. After a semester of recklessness, and almost failing out of school, Olivia started to cool her heels and, in her words, yearned for the stability of a relationship again. She and Nathan started talking again, and eventually rekindled their relationship by the start of junior year. This is how their relationship has played out for the past 6 years. They start out fine. Olivia gets bored. They break up. Olivia goes wild for a bit. Nathan casually dates for a while. Olivia gets bored and comes crawling back to Nathan. They get back together. I love Olivia like a sister, but her behavior over the years to Nathan has really pissed me off and I can't understand why he goes back to her. But they're adults. All I can do is be there for them, and try not to mention Olivia to Nathan, or vice versa, when we're hanging out during their periods apart. Early last year, however, Olivia told me that she doesn't find partying and sleeping around as enjoyable as she once did and that she wanted to settle down with Nathan for good. I was happy to hear this, as Nathan had confided in me that despite having other girlfriends while he and Olivia were split, he's only really ever loved her. They began dating once again, but they seemed different this time. Olivia was much more subdued and sensitive to Nathan's feelings, and Nathan took care to give Olivia her space. All seemed well. Early last November, I went to a weekend-long trip with my boyfriend, which unfortunately ended early when he had to head back to work. I had told Olivia that she had the place to herself for the weekend, but I was too tired and disappointed after my trip was cancelled to tell her I was coming back. I slipped in at around 7 p.m. before she came back from wherever she was and fell asleep. I awoke at some ungodly hour too. Certain noises between Olivia and who I presumed at the time to be Nathan. Made a mental note to scold them in the morning for being gross, and went back to sleep. I was in the kitchen at around 10 a.m. to make coffee and breakfast when Olivia's door opened and a male figure emerged. I was going to make a lame joke at Nathan's expense, but when I turned around I saw not Nathan, but some lanky redhead guy I'd never seen before. He seemed embarrassed and hurried into the bathroom, and I went to confront Olivia. She told me that she and Nathan had an open relationship and he was fine with her bringing guys home sometimes. Considering that an open relationship is most certainly not Nathan's style and he'd never mentioned it to me before, I called her a liar, to which she responded that they didn't have to tell me every detail about their relationship, and I was creepy for asking. She said it with such confidence that I think even she believed it at the time. Every fiber in my body was telling me not to trust her on this, but she and Nathan seemed so happy in their sex life is definitely not my business, so I let it slide. She had done some awful things to him over the years, but cheating was not one of them. Nathan and I hung out one-on-one a few times after that, but I never got the courage to ask him if the open relationship claim was true. Olivia had been on edge the past few weeks leading up to Christmas and wouldn't tell me why before we left to celebrate the holidays with our families. Eventually, the day after Christmas, she texted me that I was going to have to find a new roommate, since she and Nathan were moving in together. I was happy for them, but a bit surprised by how sudden it was. I was going to text Nathan to congratulate him, but he called me first. He sounded over the moon, said that right before Christmas, Olivia had revealed to him that she was 6-8 weeks pregnant. While he was telling me about how he planned to propose to her on New Year's and where he wanted their wedding to be, my heart sunk. There was no way they were in an official open relationship. He had no idea about the redhead guy or any other guys she might have brought over. She was cheating on him. After my call with Nathan ended, I called Olivia and told her to meet me at our apartment ASAP, since we needed to talk. We met up on the 29th and got into a what must have been 6-hour screaming match. At some point during the fight, she admitted that Nathan didn't know about her sleeping around, but it was okay, since she was always careful and was completely sure the baby is his, since redhead definitely wore a condom. I swear. I told her she was full of shit and needed to confess to him right away, but she refused. She said how this was finally her and Nathan's chance to be happy, and she didn't want to spoil anything for him. Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason. She told me that if I ratted her out to Nathan, she'd paint me as a crazy attention seeker trying to ruin a new family, since I 1. Was having trouble with my boyfriend, 2. Had no proof of the redhead guy, and 3. Had always been jealous of Olivia since Nathan noticed her first, which is something I felt 6 years ago and got over completely. She got so vicious and irrational I had to leave and stay in a hotel for the night. At some point she went back to Nathan's place and, as planned, he proposed on night. I know it seems obvious what I should do, but I can't seem to summon the courage to tell Nathan. I've been holed up in my now lonely apartment, blowing through my vacation days trying to decide what to do. I've never seen Nathan so happy before, and there is a chance that the baby is his, but of course, there's a chance that it isn't. Olivia plans to try and completely destroy my and Nathan's friendship if the truth comes out, and he's in such a state right now that I honestly think he'd go along with her. I know I want to tell him, but I am unsure of how to do that without it backfiring. Edit, I'm meeting with him this Sunday to tell him. Olivia doesn't know. We'll update you all on how it goes. More info, Olivia is Korean, so I don't think red hair is possible for the baby. I could anonymously tell Nathan to get a DNA test before the wedding, but only I and redhead guy know about the cheating, and he doesn't know about the pregnancy, so if Nathan asks, I'm the only source. I wish there was a way for me to contact redhead guy and let him tell, and save me a boatload of trouble, but I have no idea where to even start looking. Now, I doubt she'd agree to come and talk with me again though. But if she does, I'll be recording. I want Nathan to know. I just want him to actually believe me. I may be his good friend, but a fiancé / soon to be mother of his child takes precedence. Anyway, I made up my mind and thought about how I would approach the subject. I'm meeting with him on Sunday. Wish me luck. Update 1. Pregnant best friend / roommate, 24F, cheated on her longtime BF / my friend, 25M, and I, 24F, don't know what to do. First of all, thank you, everyone, for the advice. I was so unsure of how I was going to go about telling Nathan, but it was definitely his right to know. So, last week I told Nathan to meet me on Sunday to discuss a surprise for Olivia and that he shouldn't tell her about the meeting. He asked if we had a fight since she seemed mad at me, and I said that it was just a minor spat over rent. My stomach was in knots over the whole thing. So on Thursday I went out with some friends, Pat and Marie, Olivia's other close friend, for drinks. I didn't tell them about the whole business with Nathan and Olivia since they are her friend as well. As we were talking and drinking that night, Pat mentioned that she saw Olivia's new engaged status on Facebook and how she was so excited about the wedding. Marie said she saw it too and was surprised since she thought they weren't together and since Olivia had seemed so into Robert a while ago. Immediately after she said this she seemed to realize that she had said something she shouldn't have, but I pressed on. She revealed that Robert was Olivia's former co-worker from a coffee shop job she briefly had that she had been seeing on and off for the past year. When I asked what Robert looked like, the first thing she said was he has red hair. I took her aside and told her that I needed to contact Robert ASAP but couldn't tell her why. I'm sure she could put 2 and 2 together. But she told me where he still worked, or at least, was working up until a few months ago, and a rough estimate of where his apartment was. After some sleuthing around, thankfully, he still worked at the coffee shop Marie mentioned. I was able to get in contact with Robert early Saturday and explain the situation to him. I told him that Olivia was pregnant and it could possibly be his kid, she has a fiancé she is lying to, and that I wanted him to sit down with me when I told her fiancé Nathan. At first, he refused and almost slammed the door in my face, but I was able to convince him that Nathan wouldn't attack him or hold him responsible for the cheating. To Robert's credit, he didn't know Olivia was with Nathan at the time. She told him that she and Nathan weren't serious, and said that he would try to be a part of his child's life if he or she actually were his. Apparently, he and Olivia had been FWB and he liked her, but 2 months ago, a little after I caught them, she told him never to call her again. Anyway, on Sunday I met Nathan in my apartment with Robert. At first, Nathan refused to believe us and said we were just trying to break him and Olivia apart, and that Robert probably was just a scorned ex. There was some shouting involved and Nathan broke one of my chairs by throwing it, but he eventually believed us. He said he knew I wouldn't lie to him about something like this, and that he always suspected something was up but was too in love with Olivia to press the issue. He wanted to seem tough, but I could see his heart was absolutely broken. Robert contacted Olivia and told her he knew what was up. She came to meet us at my apartment, thinking she'd only see me and Robert, but immediately became hysterical upon seeing Nathan was there too. She started saying that Robert and I were setting her up, we were trying to kill her and the baby by stressing her out, and other absolutely mental BS like that. Nathan was surprisingly calm with her, and he took her back to his apartment to discuss their engagement and the baby privately. And finally, yesterday, Nathan told me what happened between them. Olivia eventually fessed up and said that she was only with Nathan because he was stable and had a good job, but he was boring and she wasn't satisfied. He broke off the engagement and demanded a paternity test on the child, saying that he would raise him / her himself if he's the father since Olivia is obviously not capable. Olivia stormed out and claimed she was going to terminate, but whether or not she'll actually get one is currently unknown. She is apparently staying in her mother's house currently. Nathan plans to use up his vacation days to take a long break so he can mentally recoup, and I'm giving him his space. Now on to the next story. Story 2. My sister was our surrogate, but now she's trying to steal our baby and my husband. Okay, so for context, my husband is James 39, I'm F 29 and my sister is Tilly 30. When my husband and I found out I wouldn't be able to carry a baby, my sister offered to be our surrogate so we could still have a biological child. She did this totally unprompted and on her own. She had divorced her husband over a year ago and was settling into single life. We offered to cover all medical expenses and expenses for anything that could improve her life/pregnancy quality, as it's not legal to pay for a surrogate in my country. She was more than happy to do that, and as time went on she said she didn't like pregnancy. It freaked her out and she couldn't wait to just give the baby to us and go on holiday. So 3 days ago she gave birth to our daughter. She's perfect and such a beautiful baby, and we were getting ready to take her home when Tilly denied it. She said I couldn't have my baby. I was really confused and asked what was wrong. What did she mean? She said she'd changed her mind and didn't want to give us our baby. I reminded her she wasn't biologically a parent to my daughter and reminded her that she hated pregnancy and wanted to go on holiday. She said no, wouldn't let me hold my baby, and made the nurse take me out. Since then I've been crying and really upset. Our parents are trying to get her to see sense, and none of it made any sense to me until James sat me down and showed me texts he had been getting from her for the past few weeks. They started out innocent, but then she said how horny the pregnancy was making her. He sent back a laughing emoji, but she carried on and prepositioned him, asking him if he was attracted to the woman carrying his baby, saying surely it made him feel some way. She sent some risky photos of her in lingerie and he told her to stop. She wasn't his wife. He wouldn't mention anything as none of us needed more stress, but this wasn't appropriate. Since then I've been looking over the contract we had drawn up, and there is a clause that allows me to gain custody by showing Tilly's written agreement and understanding of our contract to a judge. I've texted Tilly telling her she has a day to give me my baby or I will take her to court to enforce the contract and get custody of my child. Our cousins have texted me saying I'm an off for pressuring a woman to give her baby up. But it's my baby, not hers. Edit. If I'm honest, it feels like emotional manipulation. She's had no feelings or attachment to the baby literally the whole pregnancy. She said she only did it so she could get the private health care. The holiday she's going on was paid by us. Anything she wanted during pregnancy, food, clothes, Dyson hair dryer, we got her. We sent her on wellness weekends. She admitted she wanted some pampering after the divorce and knew we would give that to the woman housing our baby. Update 1. My sister was our surrogate, but now she's trying to steal our baby and my husband. Just thought I'd give a little update as lots of people were using the update bot. We have Tilly 24 hours before we started the legal proceedings to give us our baby. I've been into work today to keep my mind busy as I was so nervous, and I work in a hospital, so it's kept my mind busy, whereas James is able to work from home. It's been so hard the past few days not having our daughter with us. We'd imagined being able to spend the first few days of her life together as a family, getting in all the newborn skin-to-skin contact, but instead we've just been looking at her empty nursery. When I got home from work, James told me that the maternity facility had been in contact to say my sister and our baby had been discharged. One didn't want to worry me when I was at work and had been trying to find them, but it had only happened about an hour before I got home. Then 2 hours later someone knocks on our door and it's Tilly holding our baby. She gives her to me and just shrugs and says sorry, but that it wasn't her fault. She was attracted to the man whose baby she was carrying, but that she'd forgotten how much newborns cry and need to be fed, and said she wasn't the mother. She left quickly after that, after giving us the final legal form with her signature on. Safe to say, we've just been soaking in having our baby with us finally. We've been able to put her in the clothes we'd gotten her. We put her down in her crib and fed her a bottle. And most importantly, we've had so many cuddles. We haven't really put her down, and I feel a bit scared too. Like she can be taken away again. She's beautiful and she's perfect, and her name is Alexandria Renee. Update 2. My sister was our surrogate, but now she's trying to steal our baby and my husband. I am aware how insane this title is, but hear me out. It's me, F28, my husband Lucas, 39, and my younger half-sister, dad's side, Leah, 24. My husband and I met through work 5 years ago but didn't date right away. We tied the knot by eloping 2 years ago, as I predicted Leah would cause wedding drama. Leah herself had a failed engagement 1 year ago. We gave her our condolences, but she said if I really cared I would stop wearing my engagement ring around her, flaunting it. I obviously did not take it off. It's a vintage ring that is an heirloom in Lucas's family. I'm now 5 months pregnant with a baby girl. She wasn't planned, but she's a very welcome surprise. Lucas is so excited to be a girl dad, it's very funny. Ever since I announced my pregnancy, it wasn't a fancy thing just over dinner. Leah has been very snippy and standoffish with me. Fine, it didn't really affect me. We're not close. But then I noticed when we'd go to visit my dad, or are at family gatherings, she's very touchy with Lucas. She giggles at every joke he makes. Doesn't really bother me. I'm secure in my marriage, and if anything it makes her look silly. We had a blended family event with both mom and dad's side, and we were discussing baby names when Leah freaked out, screeching at me that she's the one who deserves a husband and a baby, not me. I never wanted marriage or kids. I was focused on getting a career, and stormed off. Later on, my dad and his wife said she shouldn't have shouted, but I was flaunting my marriage and pregnancy when I know she had a failed engagement and had always wanted a baby. I thought that was it, but yesterday the three of them asked to talk, and they came over to ours and they legitimately asked if I would give Leah my baby. Like they weren't joking, they said it seriously. They said she deserved it more than me as she wouldn't neglect being a mother for a career. Lucas was stunned but then promptly got them out of our house. I heard Leah clinging to his arm telling him she could be a good stay-at-home mom. My mom and her side of the family are furious. Leah's mom said it was malicious of me to tell my mom's family and that I had really upset Leah when we eloped, so I had to make it up to her and that my mom doesn't get a say. What the actual fuck? Edit, just to address some things. Yes, unfortunately this is real and it happens often. Look up the case of Taylor Parker. This is really stressful. I'm immune compromised, so I'm really feeling run down and have to be careful. Lastly, Lucas is actually Swedish, so that is an option to those of you who have suggested moving. Update 3, my sister was our surrogate, but now she's trying to steal our baby and my husband. Hi guys. Just wanted to give y'all an update as you asked for it. I saw it made it onto a TikTok podcast, which was amusing. If someone wants to pass them this update along, please do. Point 1. Obviously I'm not actually asking if I should give Leah my baby. I was venting. Sorry if I put it in the wrong sub. Lucas and I are in Sweden right now on vacation and have explored the possibility of moving here. He works for a Swedish company in the US anyway, so it would just be a case of moving, and my work is fluid. I can pick up a job in most countries. I've asked my mom if she would think about coming with us. We would help set her up and make sure she was looked after, in this way she can see her grandbaby whenever rather than being an ocean apart. Leah is fuming apparently, sulking and being an all-round awful person.